Hello chess friends! In today's lesson we will see some practical examples from tournament games in Queen Endgames. If you missed to see my first endgame lesson about Queen Endgames basics, take a look information about that in the right upper corner. In this position, this was the game from Pilnik Trifunovic, played in Amsterdam 1950. And white is a pawn up, white is playing to win this game, and he threatens immediate promotion, g8 promotion, and win. It is black on the move, of course, otherwise if it would be white on the move, it would be checkmate in one move. If now black starts with wrong check, like queen c6 check, the game will be very soon finished. After king f2, there is only one more check, queen b6, and after king f1 there are no more checks, and now white wins in a forced way. So black must find a way how to continuously check white king in order to avoid losing this game. And black started with queen h1, and after king f4, queen h6 check, king e5, queen e3, king d5. So in the position in which the king of the stronger side has no good shelter among its own pawns, the only useful method to play is to go into the opponent's squad. So we will see how white is applying that plan in this game. King d5, queen d3, king c6. Now black can capture the pawn on c3 with check, or make check queen c4. If he captures the pawn on c3, after king b7, we see that there are no any more checks except to capture the pawn on g7. But if that happens, then it will be winning pawn endgame for white, because white has enough time to win both of black's pawns and to provide winning position. It is easy to win the game now for white. That is why black made check queen c4, king b6, queen e6 check, king a7, queen e3 check, king b7 was played, although it was possible to capture the pawn on a6 anyway, queen e4 check, king a7, queen e3, and now he captured the pawn on a6, queen e6, king takes b5 also wins the game. In the game it was played king a7, queen e3, and queen c5. Of course, that exchanging of the queens will immediately lose the game for black, so black played queen g3, king b7. Again, it's interesting, if queen takes g7 with check, queen c7 will now force trading of the queens, and white has easily winning pawn endgame. So black played queen to f3 check in this position, and after queen c6, queen d3, queen c7, queen d5, king b6, queen f5, white played queen e7, and after queen f2 check finally took the pawn on b5. This is already completely lost position. Few more moves were played in this game. Queen f5 check, king c4, queen g4 check, king c5, queen c8 check, king d4, queen g4 check, and after queen e4 check, black resigned the game because it is also a counter check, and white easily wins this pawn endgame. This position is from the game Borisenko-Simagin, played in Moscow 1955. And in this position, Borisenko played as white, and he was a pawn up, and of course he wanted to win this game. On the other side, black had a very active queen, and he has very good chance to make perpetual check and to make draw in this game. And he played queen f1 check. If now king goes to h2, then queen e2 check, king h3, queen f1 check, king h2, and we see some sort of perpetual check. After queen f2 covering check, simply queen e4 check, and the game is really drawn. It's not possible to make progress for white. But white didn't want to accept the fact that he will need to make draw in this position, and played king g4. In this position we are going to see how it is not always good and useful to move the king around the board. Sometimes it may be very dangerous for the king like in this example. After king g4, it would be wrong now for black to play queen f5 check, because after king h4 there are no more checks, and after queen f3 there is a checkmate threat, queen to h5, but queen d8 check, king g7, queen f6 check is great move which wins the game now. After forced trading of the queens, now white will win the game because he has active king and he will win both of these black pawns, and this is easy winning pawn endgame. White wins the game. But instead of playing queen f5 check, fantastic move which black has in this position is the move which immediately wins the game. That is great move f5. Now if king goes back to h4, it will be immediately queen h1 checkmate. So since it's check after f5, the only other move is to take en passant. But when that happens, we have forced checkmate, queen f5, queen h5. So the conclusion from this position is that stronger side must be careful when stronger side wants to use the king to go to the middle of the board in order to try to win the game if, for example, a pawn up, because it's not always useful and sometimes it may be dangerous, like in this position. This position is from the game Marozzi-Bogolyubov, played in Dresden in 1936. And we see that here white is a pawn up and white wants to win this game. But in a case when stronger side king has no shelter from checks, he actually must go out closer to the center of the board to find a shelter. And result of the game in general will depend on the fact, is it possible to hide from checks? Let's see this typical example. Now if white wants, white can capture the pawn on c6, but if that happens, now we have perpetual check, queen f4 check, queen c1 check, and black will constantly make checks along diagonal c1 f4 and no chance to make progress in this game. Draw by perpetual check, which means that queen takes c6 is not good enough move to win this endgame. Much better move is b5. This move is also a little bit risky because after c takes b5, now black also has this passed pawn on b file. And let's see what happened in the game. c6, queen c2 now to stop further advancing of the pawn, queen d5, attacking the pawn on f7 with check, so king h6. If now queen takes f7, then black will of course win the pawn on c6, queen d6, queen c4, c7, king h7. Now white has a specific problem. If white wants to support his pawn to promote and play queen d7, then his queen is no longer able to stay on diagonal h2 b8 and stop queen f4 check. But since queen will be on d file, there is no perpetual check for black. So queen d7 is possible move. And after queen f4 check, king g1, queen c1, king f2, there is no queen d2 check. So black played queen c5 check, king e2, queen c2, king e3, queen c5, king e4. At this moment, black resigned the game, Bogolyubov resigned the game, but it could follow, for example, like this. Queen c2, king d5. We see now how white king is approaching closer to his queen and the pawn. Queen a2 check, king c6, queen a6 check, king c5, queen a7, queen d6, queen a3, king e5, queen a1, queen d4. This is what white wanted to actually cover the check by his queen and prepare playing king d6 with the king. Also, it attacks the pawn on h4, so after queen a6, for example, then it will be first played queen h4 check, and then queen g4 threatening promotion, and after f6, let's say queen d5, f5, queen h4 again. Queen b7 check, king d6, queen b6 check, king d7, queen b7, not allowing direct promotion, but after queen d4 check, king h7, and after king d8 there is no any more way to stop promotion, and white wins the game. In this position, white was also Marozzi like in the previous game, and black was Betbeder. The game was played in Hamburg in 1930. It was black on the move here, and let's see how white won in this example when he is a pawn up. Black of course played queen b1 check, king a4, and now g6 to have all of his pawns on the king side defended. a6, queen a1 check, king b5, queen b2 check, king c6, queen f6 check, king c7, excellent move, offering the pawn on a6. Although even with queen b7 it would be a win for white, this is more beautiful way how to end up this game. Because if queen captures the pawn on a6, then queen d7 check, and now wherever black king goes, it will be forced trading of the queens. For example, king f8, queen d6 check, and after queen takes d6, king takes d6. This is winning pawn endgame for white because of much more active king. We have learned something like this in our previous lessons. So in the game, after king c7 and offering this pawn on a6, black didn't capture this pawn. He played queen c7, but after queen c6, queen e3, king c8, finally black resigned the game because now it's not possible to stop promotion. Black is lost. That would be all about this lesson. If you want to see some specific content in my video chess lessons, please place the comment below my video on YouTube, take a look at the suggested videos, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.